If you like this video, please click like, share it, subscribe, buttons down there. And if you want coaching with me in Nottingham or online, all the information is in the bio. How you doing? All right? So since I've started my channel, I'm learning all the time. And what I've found is there's certain buzzwords that you can put on your videos that help your videos get a little bit more traction, a little bit more views. And one of those clickbaity, the biggest clickbait you can do within snooker coaching channels is cue action. Stick that in there, probably gonna go well. Now I've tried to stay clear of that because I don't want to do that. I want to genuinely try and help people. Whether people are doing this, just using that just to get views, I don't know, or whether they actually believe what they're saying, only they knows. But if you can't beat them, join them. This is about cue action, but I'm going to look at it from the perspective of, I'm telling you, you don't need to have the most perfect cue action, and for me to tell you you need to do it this way would be wrong, because you just need to find something you can repeat. Now I'm being a bit playful with this, don't get your knickers in a twist, but there's a bit of information that I've seen out there recently where you should do this, do that, the other, and again, it's just distracting people from what they need to be thinking about. It's super unlikely you're missing because of any of these reasons given. So the big problem with that is it's distracting you from what you need to be sorting out. And what's happening and listen, pros can be bad. They can be bad for messing about, circle of death in, but what I found is amateurs are worse than pros, miles worse. I can only imagine it's because they're trying to get better and they can't. And there's so much information out there, clickbaity information telling you, oh, if you cue like this, stand like this, you'll get better, which, like I say, is probably not what you're missing anyway. So here goes. This is my video on this bits of information. Right, so cue action. Right, let's boil it down to what is the cue action. All it is really, break it down, it is the cue tip going backwards and forwards that much. That's it. If you can create a backwards and forwards motion consistently, maybe not, you don't have to be dead straight, you can play with that and you can be a very good player. How you do that is really irrelevant. Repeatability is key. Can't bang that drum loud enough. But the latest bit of advice I've seen, obviously I've had to make a list because it's things you need to be aware of apparently. So address position. Right, apparently your cue, your hand has to be vertical from your elbow. Right? So mine isn't vertical. Mine's a bit out, right? That feels comfortable for me. I think that's out. I don't even know, right? But I potted it. But I mean, vertical is about there, I think. Is that right? I don't know. That feels a bit into me. So yeah, it's probably about vertical. Oh, potted it. Is it because I'm vertical? No, right? And if you have to be vertical, right, then my mate Mark Selby and John Higgins, Joe Connor, perhaps him the other day, he's a bit out. They're doing it wrong because they're not vertical. So it's not true, is it? For me, somebody to tell you that it's got to be vertical, that is not true. So again, that you've got quite a wide spectrum of whether you can be a little bit in, a bit out, either vertical. Some players are vertical, but again, to say you've got to be vertical, that is not true. Else some of the greatest players of all time would go vertical, wouldn't they? Surely that makes sense. Or is it me? The next bit of advice is feathers. Right, so what are feathers for? Feathers are for feeling the shot. Absolutely true. Apparently you should be checking whether you're cueing straight. Well, you don't have to cue straight to be a good player. That's why a lot of the greatest players of all time don't cue straight. It's consistency that you're looking for. You try and get it as consistent as possible. Straight's good if you can do it, but again, it's not the magic pill. So I don't want you looking at the cue, going backwards and forwards. I want you looking aiming, where you're sending it and where you're addressing. That's what you should be doing. Again, any distraction from that, no good. I can promise you, right? So, but yeah, feathers is about feel of the shot. So, all right, yay. Pauses. So, pause at the front, you can pause at the back. So what is the pause? I've done a video on this. everybody's got a pause. Like I said on Stephen Hendry's channel when I was on it, if you haven't got a pause forward or backwards, you'd either just keep going backwards or forwards, wouldn't you? But what is the pause? All the pause is the amount of time it takes for you to transition from one way to the other. So at the back, some people have got a longer transition and some people have got a quicker hit. But ultimately, you've got to get the Q-tip back to the correct part of the cue ball, the correct speed. If you don't do that, it don't matter what you do with your pause. But again, you've got to find somewhere you can repeat. So my pause, I'm not thinking about pausing, I'm just aiming and then I'm just hitting it when I'm ready. So I've found my pause and that's what I do. You don't want to be thinking about that. Again, if you want to pause at the front, you can do. If you don't want to, that's absolutely fine, right? Honestly, to say that that's going to help you, might help you, but again, it's not why you're missing probably. You've got to be aware of the full action. So you've got to be aware of how coming back and how much you go through. I mean, I've never thought about this. Maybe I should do, you know. But again, it's more stuff that I think it's not why people are missing. You know, again, the cue action is moving your Q-tip backwards and forwards that much. That's it, right? If you can create that backwards and forwards motion, setting up consistently, then honestly, that will be it. And if it's like that, that's what you do. I mean, it could be like this. I mean, if it works for you, keep doing it. But again, I didn't have much of a range of motion there. I used my thigh. Nice thigh, I've been squatting. So yeah, you don't need to be aware of that. Just get down, get comfy and go backwards and forwards. Right, okay, you've got to hit from the elbow. So again, this is, right, so this is basically trying to say not, your elbow's got to stay there, basically, when you're going backwards and forwards. A lot of people do this. And then obviously, some people drop their elbow, but this is after impact, so it makes no effect on the shot because the white's already gone. But some players don't hit from the elbow. Like, again, I'll use him as a reference, John Higgins again. You see his elbow drop a little bit. Again, Joe O'Connor, is just, because they're a bit out, it's great that recently I've been practicing with Joe, so I've seen him up close. But yeah, he sort of, his elbow drops a little bit as he pulls it back. But it doesn't matter. He's creating a consistent backwards and forwards motion. If you keep your elbow there and you open your hand a bit more, and that's fine too. But look, the thing is that the point of this post is there's loads of ways to do it, right? Loads of ways. That's why they've all got different cue actions. And my problem with this advice is that it's distracting people probably why they're missing in the first place. So they'll be going down rabbit holes and thinking, I need to keep my elbow high. But that's very unlikely that you're missing because of that, like super unlikely. So, look, I know I'm only being playful when I do this, but generally, honestly, it's very rare. It'd be very unlikely that you're missing because of any of these reasons. Just get something you can repeat and crack on, honestly. The game's not that technical. It really, that's it. So there you go. Try and be playful with it. But, like I said, I'm giving examples there of people that are amazing and they don't do that or they do it differently. So, like I said there, you've got to create that backwards and forwards motion with your Q-tip. How you do that is irrelevant. You've just got to create something you can repeat. Repeatability is the key. So, if you can repeat something with, like there, your elbow not pivoting from there and dropping it a bit, bringing your cue hand back to your chest, do that. I promise you, and then concentrate on aiming. I know I'm like a dog with a bone, but I know it's true because I can play the game. See you soon.